Grey's Anatomy. 10 Unpopular Opinions About Derek and Meredith's Relationship, according to Reddit. As fans are rewatching, they're noticing some not-so-great things about Meredith and Derek's relationship and sharing their unpopular opinions. Grey's Anatomy might be bringing McDreamy back in their newest season, as they've introduced Derek's nephew as one of the new residents at the hospital. Though a nice callback, nobody can really replace the original McDreams in the hearts of fans. But now everyone was a fan in the first place. The relationship between Meredith and Derek got a lot of positive feedback when it aired, and everyone seemed to have been rooting for them to work things out. But as fans are rewatching, they're noticing some not-so-great things about their relationship. His career was more important. At one point, Derek's career was more important than Meredith's. Freaking Obama kept calling, said Reddit user letter_additional. There were plenty of debates about that, on and off the show. Most fans claimed Derek couldn't possibly put his own career first and hold Meredith back. But apparently, not everyone shared that opinion. This Reddit user brought to attention the fact that Derek's research was a huge deal, and even the president wanted him on his team. There are just certain people one can't say no to, and Obama is surely one of them. He acted like he didn't love her. Right. I never got the feeling that he loved her or even liked her, except for the very early seasons. Anything past that, he always acted like he wanted to kick her ass, said Reddit user Lynn_Kinger. While it's true the earlier stages of the relationship were when they were at their best, not everything was bad after either. But this Reddit user makes a good point. They did seem to be angry with each other often. Derek because of the ruined trial, then Meredith because of his reckless behavior after the mass shooting. They just couldn't catch a break, and there was already a lot of resentment between them. Their relationship wasn't healthy. And every time I watch I cringe at how everyone calls their relationship legendary or meant to be, or whatever else, said Reddit user Nixlow. Many viewers have picked up on some unhealthy or even toxic aspects of Meredith and Derek's relationship. They would often keep things from each other, even after getting married. In one of the worst plot holes, Derek shares a kiss with Renee in DC he never tells Meredith about. They would be selfish and inconsiderate of the other's feelings. They even said some harsh things in anger that could never be taken back. He emotionally manipulated Meredith. He gets with Rose to basically manipulate her into realizing she could lose him. He wasn't even into Rose. He did the same thing to her that he did to Addison, said Reddit user Mikawo. The latter might not be entirely true. He didn't get with Meredith to manipulate Addison into realizing she could lose him because she already lost him. However, there is a ring of truth to that, because Derek was never seriously into Rose, and what he did to her was horrible. But the manipulation he used on Meredith was much, much worse. Murder might not have been the worst couple, but they weren't the most healthy one either. Meredith ruined his clinical trial. I don't think Derek should be blamed for his reaction. He was 100% right in the Alzheimer's trial, and Meredith was 100% wrong, said Reddit user The Battley of Evermore. Meredith was often a horrible person, and this was no exception. She absolutely acted selfishly and compromised his career and ruined the trial. Even worse was that she refused to be accountable for her actions, and tried to excuse them by claiming Richard and Adele were family. Though Derek slightly overreacted, his reaction was actually understandable and he shouldn't be hated for it. He was selfish with her. I realized how actually awful and selfish he was most of the time, especially to Meredith, said Reddit user Melialmighty. Even though Meredith was a highly gifted surgeon with the potential of becoming one of the best neurosurgeons in the country, he refused to teach her. He even manipulated her into switching to a less competitive residency in order to save their marriage, even though it could have severely impacted her entire career. He was also so selfish after the shooting. Understandably, he went through trauma, but he dismissed the fact that she went through it as well, and made it even worse by intentionally putting his life in after she lost Derek. Meredith is a much better character, doctor, mother, etc. after Derek left Grey's, said Reddit user Purple Papyrus 38. Other Redditors added that it was likely that he was holding her back. If Derek was still alive and they were still married, it's certain that Meredith would have unlikely become the award-winning surgeon that she is. In his absence, her dreams and her goals were automatically put first, except for her children, so she could focus on her research and her career. The people around her offered support without holding her back. However, it's unlikely she will ever be as fulfilled without the love of her life, despite all her achievements. Derek called her names. Every time she didn't behave like he wanted her to, he called her names and tried to hurt her the worst way. Reddit user said, "I love me curly hair," reminding everyone about how Derek called Meredith a ****. Even though Meredith's reply was one of the best quotes on the show, it was still startling to watch. Later on, he also called her someone who didn't know right from wrong, and even told her she was the same as her mother. This was undoubtedly one of the worst traits of Derek's character. He was often impulsive and said things he should have kept to himself. It definitely wasn't a positive aspect of their relationship, especially because Derek knew that Meredith's mother has said similar things to her, and that it would hurt her even more. Derek was not in the wrong. It has been confirmed that he was going to tell her about Addie that night that they were going to go for dinner. He saw that it was getting serious and that feelings were developing and was going to tell her, said Reddit user Catsbiz 2388, before adding that they started out as a one-night stand, and nobody tells their deepest, darkest secrets to a drunken hookup. Even though Derek only dated Meredith for about 8 weeks, and their secret relationship was one of the things fans love about Season 1, as the Redditor pointed out, it would still have been fair to tell her when it became obvious it wasn't just going to be a one-night stand. It was unfair to her because even if they weren't too serious yet, she did have certain expectations about their relationship. Meredith shouldn't have gotten together with Derek after Addison. If I was Meredith, I would have never got back with Derek after Addison came, because even if something does seem to make you happy, it may not be right for you. Murder was toxic, said Reddit user Dependent Travel 4. Derek's wife showing up was one of the biggest plot twists of the century, and fans are still not over it. Though there is a lot of truth in what this Redditor says, there is something beautiful in fighting for the person one loves, even when it's hard or seems impossible, and that's exactly what Meredith did. If Derek had stayed with Addison, at least she wouldn't have filled her life with regrets for not trying.